Hello.
I don't know, I just click on the title and it just...
Oh, Rio, I can't hear anything you're saying. There's a really bad mic feed, like a really loud noise.
Juno. Oh, there's a funny noise.
Maybe can you unplug your headphones?
Oh. Oh, cool. Everyone's able to. Hi, everyone.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, perfect. I'm Grace from Juno, just making sure everything's set up.
Thank you so much for being with us and for supporting us.
No worries.
For some reason, I can't hear anything.
Try refreshing your page, and that usually kind of helps because I can hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Splendor. Can you hear us?
Yeah, sure.
Perfect. Okay, awesome.
And Laura, maybe we can test your sound.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Perfect, perfect.
Oh, great.
And all the videos good.
Oh, good.
Can you hear us now?
Oh.
Oh, it's gone off. Vio, can you hear us?
Oh, I think Vio, you're on mute. So unmute yourself.
View, if you press the button that's on the bottom left-hand screen, because I was confused too, if you click on the speak the audio, then it turns red when you can speak.
Mm-hmm. It's on the bottom where all the emojis are. On the right side, or the left side.
Left side. So
Yeah,
it says
that
that.
side.
Already unmuted, but the logo is still mute.
Okay, yeah, I forwarded this to our tech team, so they're looking at that. But Vio, can you just say something to see if we can hear you at all? I cannot. Can you try refreshing your page, your tab, and see if that helps reset everything? Thank you.
Konstantinos, any luck? Can you hear us? Can't hear us.
I can't share my video and voice. Can you try, Konstantinos, to see if you can go into your, are you using Google Chrome? Oh, he left the. Yeah, we can hear you. It might be your your headphone. So can you try unplugging your headphones? No, just unplug your Vio, just unplug your headphones completely and just don't use headphones and see if the sound works better.
Interesting. Konstantinos can hear us now, but not when he joins.
Yeah. Sometimes that's why if he can just pop back on, if maybe his settings isn't set to his site settings isn't set to allow him to see. So that might be why. So that's why I was trying to pop him back up. And if he's using Chrome, because Chrome works best for Juno. Hi, Konstantinos.
Can you hear us? Fair.
Okay, Konstantinos, if you can go to your Chrome settings in preferences, and then go to your, if you scroll down, there's like site settings. Make sure, and then there's permissions, and just make sure that you're allowing us to view your camera and audio. Kristen, you're now on mute.
Leo, can we try without your mic, maybe? Maybe without the headphones, because maybe I think that's the problem. If you unplug it, can you unplug it from your computer? And unplug it? And can you say something now? Try to unmute and speak. Did you did we can't hear you? You unplugged it?
You unplugged it? Okay. It might, let me call one of our tech support to see if it's something further. Is your settings set as like, is your Chrome settings set giving you allowance to use the site? Yeah. Can you try clearing your cache from your web browser? Okay. And another thing that might help is just completely restarting your computer, because sometimes that's like an easy fix.
Constantine, we can't hear you now.
No, we can't hear you. Can you try clearing your cache, Konstantinos? And then if we'll try that, and if that doesn't work, we'll just restart your computer, because that's also an easy fix.
Coming here. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Perfect.
In the meantime, while they're while Vio and Konstantinos are doing their things, can I just, there's two, so I want to share my screen, to be sharing my screen on 2 occasions. One is to share a video, one is to share a Slido, a poll. So I just wanted to rehearse that, if that's possible.
Great.
So this is the poll. So when I share the poll, I share it in here. So should I also share my screen as well, and that's how we see the live results coming in? Some people hear me. So for example, so if I, yeah.
That sounds great, Kristen, if you.
The poll. So if I actually, no, that's my link to the poll. So what I'm going to do, I've just realized actually, I think I shared them what the, might have shared. Anyway, if I share this, can you get onto the poll? Does it ask you for a code?
Sign in. And they put our email or create an account.
Share. Okay, sorry. Direct link. So what about this one? What about that one?
That one works.
Okay. Do you need like a password or a code word or?
It doesn't look like it. No, you can just click on any of them and then send in, which is great.
Okay, brilliant. And then the second one is this one. So there'll be 2. Okay, there'll be 2 separately. Will be this one.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, Vio.
Yeah, we
like
can, but yeah.
The second one works too, Kristen. That's great.
Hi, Sonia. We can't hear you. You might be on mute.
If you click the little speaker bottom on the bottom left hand, and it'll turn red, and then I'll be on, and then you're.
Okay, you should be able to hear me now. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. Sorry to be a little late. I've been I'm with my family at the moment because it's Saturday, so just been doing family things. But I will switch my head into gear.
Thank you so much for being with us, Sonia. Thank you for dedicating your time on a Saturday. I've sent my daughter. I've sent my daughter off to a barbecue with my husband.
Okay, very smart.
Yeah.
So if I send, sorry. Okay, are you, and Kristen, you're going to share the YouTube.
So yeah, I was just going to do that now. Actually, I was just going to do the YouTube video. I was going to share my screen. I'm not going to share the link in the chat. So I was just going to do a run from that. And Sonia, it's 3 minutes 18, right? That you wanted to.
So there's a sort of a Danish girl in pink, I think.
Sonia, you're a bit echoey.
Huh.
And then Vio, if you can hear us, if you head into the mod chat, our tech support's here to help with the sound, Adam.
Moderator's chat is you can choose the chat on the top right hand corner. You can choose chat or Q&A or polls or mod. Echoing because I'm not using headphones because I need to share the sound from the video. Share the video.
Sounds good. And Furman, is your sound working?
Furman, we can see you. Can you test your sound?
Okay, I'm here. Can my voice
Oh,
hear?
great. Works very well.
Muted, Sonia.
Konstantinos, our tech support person's here in the mod chat, so he'll help you with the sound issue.
Check and see us in the top right.
Yeah, he was chatting. Adam, basically, he can hear us, but we can't hear him.
And Sonia, I think you're having a little bit of issue with the microphone. So just to clarify here, Sonia, if it's color red, it's on. If it's color red, it's on. Nope, we're not able to hear you right now.
No.
So
no.
I'm going to ask you really quickly to refresh your page up at the top left corner of your page. Go ahead and refresh and then join again.
Okay, how are things now? Good. Oh, thank you. I'm not going to touch anything now.
Okay, perfect.
No
so you're good
worries.
to go.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah, if any issues like that arises, give it a simple refresh for any of your pages. You'll always be able to get into this session so long as somebody's in here anyway. So that might just be a good starting point when you're encountering issues. If you're loading slowly or like you're hearing echo, any of those sort, just go ahead and refresh your page, and that should take care of it. Okay.
Thanks, Joseph.
You're welcome.
Adam's here as well for any.
Oh, okay. Is there anybody else that we can help with?
Sure.
So Konstantinos needs help. We still can't hear.
Okay,
Yeah,
Constantino, you need help. Are you using any kind of external microphone?
Joseph, Adam's doing it in the mod chat right now.
Oh, okay. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So you're troubleshooting that.
Yeah, troubleshooting it. And then we're working on Vio. I think she might have restarted her computer, so we'll just wait on that as well.
Okay, sounds good.
Yep.
Thanks so much. It's great how you have such a strong tech support.
Yeah.
Here to help.
Thank you all. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, it's weird, Kristen. You can see your face, and then you have like a second Kristen where it's your screen.
So if
Yep.
I think it's very or it's funny.
Oh, I just want a quick, just before we get into your guys' logistics, I just want to let you know a few things. If you need to view the screen, the PowerPoint closer, or you want to see someone talking closer, on the icon, you can see little arrows, and that will maximize anyone speaking or the PowerPoint. But you have to tell the attendees that.
Okay, so they can click on one of us.
Yeah,
And should
they
we
can
turn
click
our
on-
videos off when we're not speaking, or they can just click so it'll get big for them and then?
It's up to you guys. But if they want to see you specifically speak, they can just expand their screen. And then I'm just going to quickly go over all the chat functions. I don't know if anyone's familiar with it. The chat function does disappear after a while, or the text does disappear after a while as more people chat and people get added to the session. So if you have something you want to repeat, just make sure you copy and paste it back in there. For example, like a welcome message or anything. There's the Q&A tab for any questions and answers, questions anyone asks. People can upvote them or any of that. I don't know if you guys have polls in this session. You do? Okay.
Slido.
Okay, then that you don't need to use that one. And then the mod chat is just between us who's in this room. So none of the attendees will be seeing it. So if you have any questions that you want to ask us or talk amongst yourselves, just feel free to use that chat box. And then on the very bottom next to the emojis, there's like a blue text. That's going to be the timer. So you have about 12 minutes until the live session.
Cool, no pressure.
Yeah, no, you guys are gonna do so.
No,
so great. I just wanted to give you a quick review over all of this, the little kind of things we have in Juno, so you guys are prepared.
Fantastic, Grace, and also, yeah, the whole team is fantastic. Can I see if you, so can you see the video and can you hear it? I just want to ask this.
Can see it, cannot hear it.
Hello everyone, I'm Kika. What do you think about
Perfect.
the world?
Yeah,
Perfect.
brilliant. Thank you. Konstantinos, ground control to Major Konstantinos.
Yeah, in the computer settings, Konstantinos, and then I want to make sure we have the correct source selected in the Juno tab. Can't hear you.
Oh, nothing.
But it says that your mic's
Are you
off in Juno, Konstantinos.
Is the icon red on the bottom?
Hello?
Oh, Via, we hear you.
Hi, Vio.
My phone
Oh,
right
much
now,
clearer.
but the video, it won't turn on.
Your camera won't turn on?
Wait, that's safe.
Trying the internal microphone, Konstantinos.
You tried two different mics.
We can try that, but I just want to make sure in the Juno tab, the source icon, it's just to the right of the screen share icon. It looks like a little camera. I just want to make sure the correct your input settings are the correct microphone.
Yeah, I can't turn on my video. I don't know why.
It was working earlier.
Yeah, because I was using my laptop, and then because of the audio problem, I changed it to my iPhone. And right now, yeah, you guys can hear me, but I cannot open the video. It won't click.
Okay. You'll probably have to allow camera access inside of your iOS if you're using an iPhone.
Yeah, you should set your settings to allow us to our website to.
I can help you with that too, but Constantinos,
I just see a screen. I just see a sign in my screen which has a Wi-Fi. It's a sign. Is it supposed to mean something?
It means that your Wi-Fi might not be super strong, but we hear you fine and I can see you fine. So just beware of that. It just might be your signal's a bit weak, but I can hear you and we all can hear you and see you fine at the moment.
Constantinos, can you confirm that the correct source is selected in the source icon on the Juno page? Okay, okay.
I've already refreshed the page and I've already allowed it, but it's still the video won't turn on.
One moment, we're just.
So Vio, for you, inside of your iPhone itself,
yes.
I think we need to enable camera access. I can help you with that. If
I
you
think
could
she
open up.
just tried doing that.
Constantinos, it looks like your speaker is working. Do you want to try speaking? Oh, darn. It shows that it's working on.
Yeah, the icon is there now.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get there.
That's good. We're all on early, so hopefully we can.
If not, Constantinos, can you just mime your bit?
Should we? Oh, video disappeared.
I am. It's because you've taken your headphones out, so your computer audio isn't working, even if your Juno audio is.
Yeah, he has the correct source selected.
Oh, cool.
Constantinos, can you try one of your headsets again? I want to resync it with your Bluetooth on your computer. Okay. And then Vio, can you still hear us?
Yeah, I could still hear you. I'm using my mom's phone right now. Wait.
Does your mom have an iPhone?
To use the Android right now.
Okay, if you're using an Android, I can help you allow access to your camera in the Android settings. Constantinos, you're back and have the microphone or the audio icon. No, I can't.
Still nothing.
Constantinos, if you do have another browser to try, we can do that. We're getting kind of close here.
Should we try his phone, Adam?
If Yeah. I mean, if he's got a good phone, a good smartphone, you can try that too, Konstantinos.
Perfect.
Okay. And Vio, inside of your settings, the Android settings app. Vio, can you hear me?
Oh, she disappeared. Okay, we see you, Konstantinos. We don't hear you.
Are you on a different browser or are you trying your phone?
Hello.
Oh,
yeah,
we
Vio, we
hear
can see
you.
you.
Yeah.
Okay, it's working. now.
Yay. Okay, now we just need Konstantinos. We're almost there.
we got time.
Yeah, we have got time. We can see him though, at least.
Konstantinos, I don't see the audio icon. Oh. And Vio just needs to turn her microphone on. Hey,
Perfect.
Vio.
Can you say maybe just one sentence, please?
It's a little muffled.
Yeah.
Now?
Yay! Good.
We can hear you.
We can hear you.
I can hear you.
Oh.
You can't hear us now?
Hear us?
Wait.
Konstantinos, can you hear us?
You're muted
Maybe
now.
just yeah, you're muted. Maybe quickly refresh.
Is it still?
You're a little better, Vio. Can you say a sentence?
A bit better. Can you just say like one sentence? Like, hi, how are you?
Okay. Hi, how are you?
Oh, okay. Better.
That's better than it was.
Mm-hmm.
Konstantinos, we can't hear you.
No
Konstantinos,
pressure. We have
did
2
you move-
minutes left. Just
Did you move to your phone or to a browser, a different browser? On your phone, okay. And do you have an Android or an iPhone? Okay, are you back on your computer then? Your audio icon is there. Are you back on your computer? Okay. Konstantinos, I can still work with you in the mod chat when this does go live here in a minute. So we'll be okay there. I want to run the audio troubleshooter, but I'm going to pop off audio here with about 15 or 25 seconds left.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Konstantinos, just head into the mod chat with Adam, and then I'm going to pop up as well, and you guys are going to go live in a bit. Good luck, everyone.
Hello.
Excellent, Vio.
Okay, thank you.
We're going to go live and you can see the counter on the bottom for about 22 seconds. Everyone deep breaths. Break a leg. Don't fall off your chair though, obviously. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Yes, fantastic. Welcome to our session called Claim Your Rights in the Digital World, and welcome to the Global Youth Summit at large. Some of you are joining us through the Juno platform. Many more are joining through live web broadcast and multiple social media channels. And a warm welcome to all of you all around the globe. My name is Kristen Hope. I work with Terre des Hommes, which is the largest rights organization in Switzerland, Swiss child rights organization. I'm joined today by a cracking panel of young activists and academics and we're going to talk to you in an interactive session about upholding children's and young people's human rights online. Given that you may be a young person and given that this is all online, this is definitely a session for you. But before I introduce you to our brilliant panel, just a bit of housekeeping. Few points. 1, please note that this session is part of the Global Youth Summit, and we strongly encourage you to explore other sessions in any of the tracks on the other days of the summit. 2, by joining this session, everyone will have the opportunity to speak, will consent to having their image and audio broadcast. 3, by participating in the Global Youth Summit, you have agreed to behave professionally, respectfully, and to be culturally sensitive towards other people, to also promote the principles of respect, diversity, and inclusion, as well as to actively prevent and not engage in abusive behavior of any kind that leads to any harm, prejudice, discrimination, or harassment against any person. If you do not adhere to these principles or the summit's code of conduct, you will be removed from the session and potentially banned from the entire event. And the organization that nominated you will be notified of your actions. We have a safeguarding team moderating our interaction on the Juno platform and the live chat section and all social media channels. I'm getting a little bit of feedback. There might be a mic open. But most importantly, should you feel unsafe at any point or witness concerning behavior, please reach out by sending an email to safe@globalyouthmobilization.org. And you may also get in touch with our support team at the virtual help desk. All information emailed on that address, it will be kept private and confidential. So now, it is my great pleasure to introduce you to our speakers. We are joined by 5 youth activists from across the world: Konstantinos Papachristou from Greece, Pratit Singh from India, Vio Fesnanda and Firman Rani from Indonesia, and Splendor Kalu from Nigeria. We're also joined by 2 brilliant academics dedicated to children's rights: Laura Wright from the University of Edinburgh and the International Institute of Child Rights and Development, and Sonia Livingston from the London School of Economics and Global Kids Online. Warm welcome to our panelists. Thank you so much for being here with us today. For the past year, all of our speakers have been involved in the COVID Under-19 initiative, which brings together children, young people, local and international NGOs, academics, and UN agencies to make sure that children's right to be heard is upheld during the pandemic and in building the post-pandemic world. In 2020, we launched the largest global participatory survey of children's experiences of the pandemic using a rights-based methodology. Over 26,000 children aged 8 to 17 responded. And I'll put a link in the chat where you can learn more about COVID Under-19, but please do follow us, #COVID Under-19 on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Without further ado, I'm going to pass the floor over to Konstantinos and Laura, who will explain a little bit about the research and specifically the results linked to children's experiences of the online world. Konstantinos and Laura, the floor is yours.
Wonderful, thanks, Kristen. And we're hoping Konstantinos' mic will be working. Otherwise, he will be silently supporting the processes throughout the journey. So as Kristen mentioned, this is one of the largest global surveys and really looking at it from a child's rights-based approach. So exploring children's human rights and as sort of indivisibility, looking at children's experiences plus views on what governments need. The approach has been co-created, a survey in partnership with children and adults from 20 countries around the world, really integrating children and young people into an advisory and steering group and building out this process. The survey was rolled out and then it was analyzed in partnership with children and young people for the qualitative and quantitative components. So young people from around the world, many of the members on this team here participated in virtual skills camps to analyze the data and then have been sharing data globally. Today, Konstantinos and I are really going to speak to some of the particular findings that have come out, and as this is a focus on digital, looking at the online elements. Konstantinos, are you able to speak? All right, so Konstantinos is going to share a poll, so maybe Kristen, if you want to pop a couple poll questions in the chat.
And hopefully Konstantinos will get you back at some point during this call, but as well, I want to honor Konstantinos' work in COVID under 19 since the beginning. Here is the first poll, actually. So I'm sending that through in the chat box. So if you, and I will also share my screen so we can get this, we can see your results. So it's on Slido. So if you click on that link, you should be able to access it. And basically, here is this poll coming in now. So during the pandemic, what has been your primary source of information? So social media, TV or radio, family, friends, or the internet. So it'd be great. We're going to run this for a few seconds. If you just click on that link and let us know what has been your primary source of information during the pandemic. Can you see those results coming in, Laura? Okay. So far we have quite a lot of people who are saying that social media is a primary source of information. Mm-hmm. Some people, and also the internet generally. 6% of people saying good TV and radio. Okay, I think we'll stop it there. So what we have is we have over 75% of you, your audience today, is saying that social media has been your primary source of information during the pandemic. Laura, over to you. I think you're muted, Laura.
Kristen, so that's really interesting and also so dependent as well on those of us who are here and recognizing there's diversity around the world of people's access. With some of the findings from the global study, we saw that with internet access, only 13% said they had hardly or no access to internet, but this was quite different across the world. 62% of children in detention centers, refugee camps, and homeless centers said they had no access or hardly any access to internet. And there was a big regional differences. So with young people sort of in Western Europe and Eastern Europe having a larger access than some of the young people in different areas of Africa or in the Asia Pacific region. We found that there was also a lot of diversity around young people becoming victims of insensitive digital learning and poverty, and it being difficult for people to get online. One young woman from the Philippines highlighted many children will be left behind. In exploring online education, the majority of children felt that education had been better before the pandemic. They also highlighted that children without access to internet or with poor internet access were more likely to say they were getting a good education before the outbreak than children who could access the internet often. So the lack of connectivity caused a lot of problems for online education and different materials. We also recognized that with the findings that some children are not getting online. One young boy from Nepal highlighted that some are not getting to join online classes because of no internet access, and even some are getting to join it. They are not having good studies as before. So you can see some of the percentages. Kristen's putting some of these details in the chat as well. So additionally, they spoke a bit about getting information and different components of online safety. As you had all just looked at the poll, around many of you said social media was quite common. Children's access to the internet highlighted throughout the study was that people would generally turn to their families first for trustworthy information about coronavirus. And this varied for young people's level of access. Or some who had good internet access might not turn to their friends, whilst others might be more likely to look online in different spaces. If you have any questions along the way, we'll continue to share some of these details, but feel free to pop them in the chat. And Konstantinos, feel free to jump in, even if we can't hear you, and put things in the chat box as well. And then the last component to highlight before I pass over to my colleagues here is around online safety. So while the majority of children were feeling safer or as safe online, there was still 17% who felt less safe. And children who hardly ever went online prior felt less safe going online during during the pandemic process. One young woman highlighted that online is sometimes unsafe, and there may be many anonymous messages that come to you. She knew how to report or block them, but many young people don't. So just recognizing different people have different knowledge around safety online. So I'll now pass it over to Sonia to get into further details on some other components.
So I'm just going to pick it up there as well, and because Sonia is going to, Sonia actually, again, one of our brilliant academics, is one of the main authors behind the general comment on children's rights in the digital environment, and we're going to come back to Sonia with all of her expertise that she's brought to this topic over the past few years. First, we're going to hear from 4 of our under 19 panelists. So we have with us Splendor, who's in Nigeria, and Splendor is going to talk about the digital divide. And over to you, Splendor.
Hello, everyone. I'm Splendor, and I'm from Nigeria. And it's really nice being here. Do you know one of the primary reasons why young ones, especially those living in rural communities, are dropping out of school following the outbreak of this COVID-19 pandemic? One of the vital reasons is because of the digital divide. The digital divide in this context I'm talking about, it refers to the gap between those able to access the internet, those who lack access to the internet. So we all know that following the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, many schools transitioned online, and that is to say that they moved their classes virtually. But to my greatest surprise, almost half, or if not all, of the schools in rural communities were left behind, which means my own community was also not left behind. We never experienced what it feels like to study online, and to my greatest surprise, we noticed that many young ones in my community now began to lose interest in education. So, and this has always been an issue. But because of this COVID-19 pandemic, the increase in illiteracy skyrocketed over the past 1 year. And it has resulted to so many woes. If not for any other thing, young ones are out there in the streets, misbehaving, causing trouble, and behaving arrogantly. But in order to solve this problem, or in order to tackle this problem, I stepped outside my comfort zone in 2020. I volunteered I took up the challenge and became a World Literacy Foundation ambassador to help advocate for literacy in my community. I normally go online to get resources which will help these young ones to stay focused in their books, in their academics, so that they won't miss some certain things out there. And during my advocacy, I also came in contact with this organization called that was the Home Foundation, and they had an initiative called COVID under 19. So I was given an opportunity to be a participant of the COVID under 19 in 2020, which was really, really wonderful, because I had to learn so many things that ordinarily I wouldn't have learned. And I learned so many things that helped me to develop and to teach and continue to advocate for literacy in my own community to solve this problem. And over the past few months, I've been seeing positive results. If not for any other thing, many young ones in my community are gradually moving back to their books, and they are now longing to get back to school, even though separated from the digital world. Notwithstanding, I have always been volunteering myself. I've been sharing my laptop with some of the ones who don't have access to the internet, and equally have been moving around and seeking a way to help people in my community by giving them electronic books that I've already downloaded online. And these are many more things I've been doing in my community. Finally, the digital divide is a broad subject. So one thing I would like to advise is this: whenever you're feeling overwhelmed with pressure, or maybe you are not connected to the digital world, all you have to do is this: stay close to people who have internet connection, and always stick to your book. So over to you, Christine.
Thank you so much, Splendor. I think it's so important, all of the points that you raised about also how you can be a good digital citizen in the real world by also, sharing actually the resources. So thank you so much for sharing that insight from Nigeria. And now we pass over to Vio and Firman, who are joining us from Indonesia to hear about the work that they've been doing around children's rights in the digital environment during the pandemic. Over to you two.
Thank you, Kristen. Hi, my name is Vio. I'm 18 years old and I'm a child rights activist from Indonesia. Well, this pandemic has impacted every single aspect of our life, including the increasing use of internet. We all know how tough the world is toward us, and I've encountered many unpleasant situations such as vulgar comments, cyberbullying, and it affects me mentally. So, regarding these social changes, me and my organization have taken some of the preventive measures to ensure children right to protection in the online world. We formed an alliance called Voice for Change Indonesia that connects 8 different cities and 9 different organizations that aims to raise children's protection system. And I myself act as the national youth coordinator for this alliance. And through this alliance, we've collaborated with the Ministry of Communication and Information online training to be a peer educator in regards on how to fully utilize the internet in order to push changes in our country's policy regarding children's rights. We also collaborated and supported empowerment and children protection in launching the service called TAP or Sahabat Perempuan dan Anak, or in English, Women and Children Best Friend. So this service acts as the starting point for women and children that are victims of violence to report their cases. And I've also been actively participating on the children and youth online consultation on the draft of regional plan of action on protection of children from all forms of online exploitation and abuse in ASEAN that will be implemented starting from 2021 to 2025. And also, me and my organization have also conducted some advocacies in Batam Island. Some of the advocacies are advocacy in the Regional Women Empowerment Commission. We discussed the issue of child protection and welfare in the realization of a child-friendly city. And we've also advocacy to the city police station that discuss the issue of children in conflict with the law. And from the advocacy and activities that we have carried out, we could conclude that there are a significant increase in the number of violence against children during the pandemic. It includes physical, sexual, and neglect, both in the form of online and offline cases. That is all from me. Thank you so much. I'll pass it over to Firman.
Okay, thank you so much, Vio, for your explanation. Okay, I'm continuing with my personal experience for children right in the digital world. Hello, everyone. My name is Rangani. I'm 18 years old. I'm from the Mitra Muda Young Partner UNICEF Indonesia, and I'm from the HCSE of the Netherlands camp. In Indonesia, the life of some 16 million children and young people from the preschool have been affected by COVID-19 over the last year. According to the UNICEF Jakarta office, because of the pandemic, all Indonesian children and youth are learning through an online system. Many Indonesians have found it difficult to participate in online learning due to full access to technology and internet connectivity. For information, children and youth who learn through the Indonesia online system. In the midst of the rapid development of the digital world in the pandemic era, this is important to maintain a balance supporting children from the various online threats by ensuring that they can still have access and take advantage of the opportunity provided by cyberspace. COVID-19 pandemic, I'm spending more time online than before. From my experience in joining online community, I witnessed my cases of cyberbullying, one major threat to the health and happiness of children, online-based child exploitation, and negative things from children. This includes sexual abuse and exploitation of children on online platform that is also on the press global. Meanwhile, cyberbullying is also. Despite the threats only will always be there, doesn't mean that it will be always be bad for your children. For that, protection measures must be met when children to take advantage of the opportunity to learn and exercise the right to express themselves in cyberspace. All of the elements must be considered while creating a safe digital space for Indonesia children. Personally, I have done several advocacy activity, webinar, virtual camps, and online campaign on students in Indonesia and Project Online. From my point of view, there are several supports from the community and stakeholders to improve on the best student protection, and the government must be able to strengthen regulation and rules to protect and improve student protection in the current digital era. In addition, I also emphasize the role of the parents to be able to increase online protection as the stay-at-home being imposed. The daily activity of students during the pandemic are stay at home, and we cannot be separate from the gadgets and the internet. However, when parents have a big role on this issue, students do not dissolve in virtual and can be able to balance between the virtual world and the real world. The reason is to avoid addiction to mati, Pak.
Chairman, I think we lost you. Chairman, I think we've lost the audio and visual, but did you want to, was there anything else or had you wrapped up? Okay. Firman, thank you so much for sharing those things. Firman and Vio, some very interesting examples of activities that you've been engaged in Indonesia. The things that I really want to highlight that also really link with what Laura was saying when she shared the results of the COVID under 19 research were around the different risks that obviously increased time spent online can pose, but also the opportunities that can be had in the digital environment, and then the different strategies at different levels that are needed to spread awareness about risks, to also put in place governance mechanisms, the responsibility of duty bearers like the state to be responding to that. So Vio, you spoke about engaging with the national, with the ministry in your country, but also at the regional level, at the level of ASEAN. But then there's also kind of these more community-based pieces that you mentioned around peer education, and Firman also talked about the importance of critical digital literacy and the role of the family environment. And that also came out very strongly in the COVID under 19 research. Children also really rely on their families for information. So thank you so much for sharing those insights from Indonesia. And now we're going to pass over to Pratit, who will speak. Pratit's in India, and he's going to speak about some of his work and his experiences in India. Pratit, over to you.
Before beginning, am I audible? Yeah. So namaste to everyone. This is Pratit. I'm from India. And today I'll be talking about two parallels that we draw when we talk about children and young people's presence on the digital space, which is protection of children and young people on the space of internet, as well as the provision of internet itself. So with regard to the protection of children and young people in the space, and this was an experience that I had drawn when I was working with the international an organization working internationally for rights of children, and in a project which involved framing guidelines and tools to maintain and educate young people on and the protection that needs to be practiced in the digital space. Now, I could draw out of these guidelines with the fact that today young people and the fact that internet as a resource, big platform for children and young people to be in. They're exposed to a new, and as we have deployed the increasing term of netizens, people become netizens. That of course comes with its own advantage, but along with the advantage also are the huge wonder with the fact that there have been that children and young people are exposed to when they step online, and that generally happens when. And therefore, the need comes out for institutions like schools and educational institutions to give out a responsible education and curriculum to children on what protection means in the digital world. Because when we talk about children and young people's presence in school, a lot of time young people and children are spent in the school space. And that really necessitates the schools as educational ones to educate young people and children on how to step in the digital world, what should be the conduct of the digital world. And this is something that I have drawn out of the experience on how such institutions work efficiently when it comes to including that in the curriculum. Because in the present curriculum in lots of parts of the world, while we do have the operations of technology, the methods and of technology. What is yet lacking is the fact that protection in terms of technology has been so much talked of in school curriculums. And that is one thing that I, as a young person, really feel needs to be incorporated. Now, the second thing that I want to talk about today is the very provision of internet itself. The fact that for the present generation, internet has been such a huge resource able to participate and access in available to young people around them. And for that, the very access to internet becomes very deep. Now, I was recently a policy in action fellow with the Young Leaders, and I was involved in a research of internet shutdowns throughout the world and in India. Results that I came across were in fact alarming because I found out in increasingly large number of places in the world, governments and institutions have been using the methods of internet for reasons which are not quite well justified. Now, what happens when there's an internet shutdown is the fact that the world are deprived and are cut off of the world of information that they're generation. Because, and I personally feel that young people and internet in today's world, with the world that we have evolved in and the future of building that better, internet and young people are inextricably separated from each other. And thus, what we need to see is the fact that when a government or an institution shuts down on the internet, what goes is the fact that firstly they feel excluded from the masses of the society are getting access to information so easily and isolated, ambivalent about when young people do not find themselves very open to the internet. Ambivalence. And that leads to information that is generated, a parochial behavior that is generated. And this is something that I could notice in the research. And in fact, that governments around the world have been using the term of national security and sovereignty for preserving their interests when it comes to using the internet shutdowns. However, in wide areas today, including countries like Iraq, including countries like India, internet shutdowns have been used for reasons like preventing cheating in examinations in a whole area. And that really brings out drastic effects when it comes to young people, because their right to directly access the information is being affected. Their right to be able to open to the world, to the digital world of netizens is being affected. And that is something which is inherently harmful for young people to be able to not access the digital world any time of the day. Especially in present time, and I'd like to highlight this specifically because I came across observations throughout the world where what happened was that even though there was a wide pandemic, there was a need for young people to access information, there was to move online to access education, need for young people to get access to whatever is going around the world. The fact that in parts of the world like Ethiopia, like India, and a lot of other countries like Bangladesh, Myanmar, there were prolonged shutdowns which is 3 months, 4 months, and further than that. That proved the fact that what to young people are isolated from the information that they have a right to access to. And I personally feel that in present age, what must be the fact that young people's lives revolves digital presence. I personally feel that the fact that internet must be made a right that must be granted to each young person or children out there, because the future that we are stepping into, specifically going through the pandemic and the experience that we have been having right now through the pandemic in terms of as a young person, I feel that internet must be given as a right to young people so that they can access the information they want to. In such time, even during such times, governments across the world have not been refraining from shutting down the internet, have not been refraining to care about what goes on young people when they are deprived of the presence of the digital world. What goes upon young people? Their mental health is being affected. We talk about the pandemic being isolated, being locked down. And on top of that, there have been places where children cannot even make their presence felt on the digital background. And that severely affects the rights of young people. And I feel that in today's world, internet has been a power for young people around the world. And that power is in terms of getting together and amplifying the voice. Who could have imagined last year that so many young people could come together, get together, and amplify the voices of children who are not heard through the initiatives such as COVID under 19. No one could have imagined that without being present on the internet. And that is the power that young people get access to when they are present in the digital world. And that power needs to remain and needs to be granted to them instead of governments and institutions having the kill switch of taking the internet away from them whenever and as where they want. So that is something that I feel that young people in today's world must have adequate knowledge of the protection on the internet, but equally necessary have a provision of the internet at their disposal. So that is something that I'd like to resonate with this platform. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Pratit, for that powerful call to action. And for those of you who are with us, we are ending this discussion with a call to action. So stay tuned, because in the next 15 minutes, we're going to tell you how you can also be part of this mobilization around rights that are fulfilled through the internet, because rights are a series of promises that governments have made through different and that are enshrined in international law. Children's rights are enshrined in the Convention on the Rights of the Child. Human rights are enshrined in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And these are promises. And the internet is seen as a gateway to fulfilling rights, to the rights to civil and political rights that Pratit spoke about, the right to protection that Vio and Fairman spoke about, the right to access information that Splendor, and the right to education that Splendor spoke about. So in this framework of rights, I'd like to hand over now to Sonia, who has been working on the newest international instrument around children's rights in the digital world. Over to you, Sonia.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Kristen. And it was just wonderful to hear everyone's enthusiasm and ideas and expectations of what should happen in the digital world and what responsibility governments should take. I think we're going to begin with a very short video, because in this new document, it's called a general comment, which is kind of part of or added to the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child. Children and young people have written their own version, and they've made a video, and we're just going to see a few minutes if it works, and then I'll just say a little bit about it.
Can you see my screen, and can you see this? Yes, brilliant.
Yes, I think just maximize it.
If you want to make it bigger, you can click on the button and make it bigger. And here we go. We're going to see a bit of this video.
Hello everyone, I'm Fika. What do you think about digital world?
You know that the UN Convention of the Rights of the Child is the most signed agreement in history.
196 countries,
including Ghana, signed this agreement.
Over 30 years ago, 1989,
the United Nations wrote the Convention on the Rights of the Child to set out the freedoms and protections that countries must give children and younger people under the age of 18 years old.
That was the same year as the internet was invented. Seeing that the people who wrote the convention had no idea of the change that digital technology will bring to young people's lives. But the good news is that the Committee on the Rights of the Child, who look after the convention, has written down ways by which children should be treated in the digital world.
Watoto mahali popote duniani wanatumia mitandao kwa ajili ya kupata burudani, kupata taarifa, kwa ajili ya shule, wana mawasiliano na marafiki na familia. Hivyo wanataka mtandao uwe wa haki na wawe salama wanapoitumia.
There are 4 principles of children's rights.
يجب حماية الأطفال من التمييز ومعاملتهم بإنصاف أيا كان.
Hỗ trợ phát triển theo hướng mong muốn của trẻ em và không bị ai ảnh hưởng và can thiệp tới.
When making any decision, adults, including governments and businesses, must do what is best for children
processing themselves.
الأطفال لديهم آراء يجب أن تؤخذ في عين الاعتبار في كل الأشياء التي يهتمون بها.
Mind you, not all children are the same. At different ages, children need different technologies, supports, and freedoms.
As they get older, they have more understanding and experience, so should be able to do and see a broader range of things. Experts call these evolving capacities.
The digital world must take account of this in the way it provides for different ages.
But how should we do this? Linda haki za watoto mtandaoni.
Make rules that support children's rights online.
Ensure that everyone understands the rules, including the government officials, businesses, parents, teachers, and children themselves.
Listen to children when they have a problem.
Stop businesses putting profit above children's rights.
Stahiki zinatakiwa kuchukuliwa kwa taasisi na watu wanaovunja sheria hizi. Make sure that children know and understand what action is being taken.
Children have the right to information, freedom, and privacy.
A informação que as crianças encontram online deve ser verdadeira, relevante e facilmente disponível, a menos que possa causar danos.
कुनै पनि संस्था वा व्यक्तिले बालबालिकालाई पैसाको लागि वा अरू कसैको हितका लागि
Children must have privacy to act and grow in a way that they wish. This includes privacy from parents, school, governments, businesses, and each other.
Brilliant. I so wanted to continue the video, but I will. We need to stop in the interest of time. But as you can hear, children and young people are enthusiastic about their rights in the digital world. They had lots more to say, and what they were doing, as I said, is presenting the general comment, the statement for all governments about how to protect children's rights in the digital world. They were presenting that in their own words. And that statement was published just last month. So this is like the moment to really kind of pick it up and make sure that governments are paying attention and that they begin to answer, I think, all of the kind of challenges that we've already heard today in this panel. So if you were to listen to more of what those young people said on the video, you'd see that their points were mirroring the structure of the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child, which kind of sets out a whole range of rights, all of which should be considered by every government. And for each right, this new document, this general comment, explains what this means for digital technologies and what governments, businesses, and others should do to safeguard children's rights. So we heard what some of them are, and there are lots more, including some of the things that answer the COVID under-19 research about the importance of reliable information, the importance of freedom of expression, being able to participate with others, the importance of education and digital literacy, as Pratit has so eloquently argued for. The right to play in digital environments, something that many parents are quite worried about, but is also important to many children and young people. The right to privacy, not to always be watched and tracked online by parents, by government, by business, unless there are kind of specific laws saying this is acceptable, this is in proportion, this is accountable. Not that everything children do online should be, the business can just take their data and make money out of it. Lots about protection and safety, kind of responding to the risks and concerns that Vio and Furman argued for. And importantly, it also emphasizes how the rights must apply to everybody, not just those who are relatively more privileged. So it highlights the importance of attending to the needs of girls, of ethnic minorities, of children living in rural communities, of those who are refugees, of those with disabilities, lots more. It's not saying that governments can kind of wave a magic wand and provide everything for everyone, but it is saying they mustn't discriminate. There mustn't be ethnic or racial or gender or other kinds of discrimination. So it is, a lot for government to do, and they're not going to find it easy, but it's really crucial now, and I think everyone has argued this beautifully today, that governments take the digital world seriously. It's not virtual, it's not unreal, it's not optional, it's necessary. And they have to find ways of taking responsibility so that children and young people's rights are in the digital world are kind of balanced. Opportunities and risks are both addressed. We don't protect children so much that they can't participate and they can't do anything. We must think about the impact of technologies on their rights before rolling out digital innovation, rather than doing the innovation and then discovering that there's a problem for children. We have to train the teachers, the professionals, the police, the health workers, the judges, the youth, so they understand what the digital world means for children and young people, and so that they can provide help and somewhere to go when things go wrong, which, because lots of children and young people say they don't know where to go when something goes wrong. And perhaps my last thing is to say, you know, it's full of good advice, and there's lots that child rights organisations are now doing. But I think it is important to know that every country who has ratified the Convention on the Rights of the Child must report to the Committee on the Rights of the Child every 5 years on the progress they've made. And now they must report on their progress in the digital world as well. So we need our governments, every government, to know about this initiative. And Kristen is going to give us an idea of how to make that happen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sonia. It's a phenomenal amount of work, but it's also a phenomenal instrument that we now all have to uphold children's rights. And so we're ending this session with a call to action, saying if this is important for you, if you want to be if you want to be an activist in claiming children's rights and young people's rights online, then there's two things that we're asking you to do today. The first thing is that there's been a lot of discussion in the chat box about resources or things to be safe online. So we have prepared a template to crowdsource resources, documents, and examples of good practice online. So we will collate this information. So I've just popped in the chat box here the link to, it's a Microsoft form, like a Google form, but it's a form by a tech company. And the idea is that if you can share with us any links, resources to examples of good practice that are child-friendly, accessible in any language, we're going to collate them, bring them together, and then we will have a COVID under 19 crowdsourced resource list and list of good practice. So that's something that everyone here can do now. And then we will share this and we will support each other, because again, what came out so strongly from COVID under 19 is the need to stay connected and to have solidarity, especially when we are so isolated. And the second thing that we're asking you to do is to sign an open letter to governments saying that they now must recognize that rights do apply in the digital world and that they do have responsibility. So I'm going to put the link to the open letter in the chat box. And it's an open letter hosted on change.org. Change.org is available to be signed by children or by people who are age 16 or over. So if you're not 16, you won't be able to sign this. But if you're under 16, you can ask an adult to sign on your behalf. Or you can also take this letter as a template. You can take it into your community, into your school, and you can try to lobby from the ground up to your school organization, to your school governing council, to your organization, and you can use this as a resource. So these are the two things. Please sign our open letter on change.org or share it in your communities if you're under 16. You can share it on social media as well. Please follow COVID under 19 on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Will be following up. And Konstantinos, is your mic working? Do you want to say a closing word in one sentence? No? Well, thank you so much for being with us today, all of you. Thanks so much to all of our guests, all of our panelists, and all of our listeners. And together, we will make sure that children and young people are heard and listened to when we're creating the post-pandemic world, online and offline. Thank you so much. All the best. Take care. Should we head down to the pub then?
If only. Well, fantastic. Now we have to tweet like mad. I hope everyone will sign.
Yeah. Congratulations, everyone.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you so much, Kristen. Can we give Kristen a clap?
Yes,
Organizing
Kristen, it was such
everything.
amazing,
Yeah.
hardworking
You're welcome.
coordination.
Thank you. Really
I love your
appreciate it.
passion and the way you speak, everyone here. It was really nice to see it radiating. And Constantino's so sorry. I'm glad you were so patient throughout this whole process. And I was thinking, oh, Constantinos would say this so much better than I am right now, but it was nice to have your presence there to hopefully next time.
Watching us and listening. No, yeah, I'm so sad as well. Yeah, that didn't work out for you, Konstantinos. But thanks so much, everyone. And just a big thanks as well to Firman and Vio. What time is it? Midnight or past midnight? Yeah.
I hope you get a good night's sleep after.
Yeah.
Or join some more sessions if you're joining it.
And thank you so much, Splendor. Thank you, Pratik. Thank you, Laura. I'm sorry I didn't thank you after you presented. You did such a great job just being on the spot. And I didn't know if everyone else could hear this echo. And so I was so like discombobulated. But I'm so glad that no one did. And Sonia, you were brilliant. As always, thank you so much for your support. Thank you for promoting this and all of the work that you've done on thematic summary and the Global Kids Online. Do you want to share the blog that went up today?
Ooh.
Oh, I think you're. No. Oh no, I'll share the blog. I'll share it. But there's just a blog that went out today on the Global Kids Online platform. So again, it's so fantastic to see what we can all do when we all join forces.
I'm really looking forward to seeing it in the crowdsourcing resources too, because that will be brilliant to have resources from around the world being shared there.
Now we're going to promote both of them online. We don't really have a strategy for which one we promote first, but I think maybe we promote, I don't know, we can promote both, but I think the open letter is like, the strong kind of political piece, and the resource is kind of the technical piece. So like we'll kind of, they're both, they both fit. So please do promote them now so the links are live. Please promote them on any of your channels, any of the newsletters. We can keep them open as well. Like there's no, especially for the resource list. I've only made it in English now, but I can also make it in other languages. I just didn't have time. But if there's anyone has any newsletters going out, we can just include it in there.
Sounds great.
Yeah, stuck on mute. So it's the sign of the times. Thank you, Sonia. Thank you so much.
Lovely to see you all. Thanks, everyone. Look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you, Laura. You've been a star. Thank you for all of your support. Thank you. Thank you, Theo, Fairman, Pratit, Splendor. You're all amazing. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. Thank you so much.
Exactly. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am.